Welcome to the Road to Redemption podcast with your host, Cam Williamson. Each week, Cam sets out to shatter the labels and stigmas associated with mental health awareness by giving life lessons and raw overviews of events happening around the world.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to this episode of the Road to Redemption podcast. I am, as always, your grateful host, Cam Williamson. Great to be back with you. Today, we are going to talk about eliminating self-doubt, getting rid of that nasty voice in the back of our head that keeps us from doing the things that we want to do with our lives. And we're going to talk about gaining our self-confidence back. I think a lot of cliches start to go through people's heads. I think I'm going to do my best to try to avoid those things. And I think we're going to have a good episode. Self-doubt. Where does it come in? Where does it start? We know people in our upbringings can say things to us. Teachers, parents, siblings, friends, ex-romantic partners, current romantic partners can say things that stick like a thorn in your brain that you may never even consciously think about. But then when it comes time to do that assignment, take that test, perform in the moment, a moment of crippling self-doubt. Can I do this? Am I capable? No matter how much preparation or training or no matter how much you've dedicated your life to something, that thorn starts to get quite irritating, right? And then if you're a resilient person, which I think most of you are, you try and you fail. Ouch. So we start to collect these thorns of insecurity where not only are people telling us we're no good, we overlook that. We ignored them and we pushed through, but then we tried and we failed. Well, when we fail, we have to take failure exactly what it is. It's not a forever loss. It's a current loss. It's a moment to learn. It's a moment to assess. And what I mean by loss, I don't mean just playing in an arena or gambling or financial ups and downs. I mean every moment that we let slip through our fingers, every moment that we don't act when we know we should, every moment that we have that idea that we go to sleep on and we don't act on that day. Those are our losses. The dreams that we let die, the people we leave behind, the conversations we don't have, those are our losses. And this is where quickly we covered how self-doubt can creep in. But now let's talk about our own insight into ourselves. How do we see ourselves? Our self-confidence, right? So if you have all these people that you've already ignored, but they've put thorns in your brain, and then you've tried and you failed, and now you have thorns on your body, they hurt, man. Failure hurts. It hurts bad. And then you've taken some losses in life, and maybe you're at a point where the losses seem to outweigh the wins. That hurts. You can start to feel like a loser. Some of those voices can start to sound like your own over some time. And you forget that it was somebody else who said it, but now you believe it about you. Because not only did someone else say it once, and that's just, and you know, one of the most dangerous concoctions to this mixture is the mindset of the people that you grew up around. Especially when it comes to context of relationships and marriages and money. Those are the two situations where people can be such a detriment to a young person by spouting off at their mouth, saying things like, oh, money's for this type of people, or, you know, women are this way, men are this way, and they put these little nuggets in people's brains, and kids' brains, and young people's brains, or they tell them, well, you're not much like your sister, you're not much like this person, in our family, we get these kind of grades, and you're not doing that, or, you know, whatever. And we start to judge ourselves on an invisible scale that we weren't told about. That there's this ever-sliding scale of self-image and security and, you know, insecurity, where I think it becomes all too easy somewhere in the middle of your life between the ages of like 12 to 26, 27, where you can kind of just start going with whatever flow life has seemed to put you in. And it's not that it's one that was created for you. Maybe you created yourself, but whatever situation you find yourself in, if you're not careful, you can start to just easily flow through life. But I promise you, one day you're going to pop your head up. Your body, your mind, your soul, everything's going to connect and going to go, whoa, what am I doing? I'm going to do this for the next 30 years or whatever. And then you look and you go, man, I don't like who I became. I had all these dreams and I had all these visions and I had all these goals. What happened to that? And hopefully you'll go into those things and you'll find who you are, right? And you'll start to get your, confidence back. Now, this is the part that I really want to hone on today. How to get your confidence back and how to carry yourself as a person with confidence. And not fake, not boastful, not, Andrew Tate type stuff where you have to tear others down to build yourself up. We're not talking about that. So if you want to go to the Hustlers Academy or whatever, there's a spot for that. I'm talking about genuine being able to walk through a grocery store and not have an anxiety attack about what people are thinking or perceiving about you. Because I can tell you from a very young age, when I was 12 years old, I remember walking through places, high schools, malls, shopping centers, and I would start to think about the way I was walking, whether it was wrong or not, and then I would physically feel my body start to like walk and move different because I was so in my head about it, and I'm like, oh my God, people are seeing how I'm walking funny. And I think that, idea that everyone's looking at me and everyone thinks I'm this, one, it's neurotic and it's not true. No one cares what you're doing or how you're walking or, no one cares. But, and then I think when I joined the military, everything you do is so analyzed. When you're at parade rest, it's a little looser, but you have your things. And then, when you're locked up, you're locked up, dude. So, and you can't move at all. And I think everything is so scrutinized, especially like on military bases. Even when you're walking through the PX and you're supposed to be calm, there's somebody that's like, oh, why are you doing that? Get your hand out of there. And so you never really can chill. You're always expecting someone to catch you trying to do something, like just chill. And it could be a little shocking, to the system, especially when you're out of that life. So you have to just remember that who you are inherently is not wrong. The way you walk, the way you speak, the humor you have, the interests you have, there's nothing wrong with that. If people in your upbringing didn't like it, well, that's their problem, especially as you become an adult and it solidifies as, yeah, this is me, this is the stuff I, enjoy, and this is what I want to do with my life. A lot of people have a hard time standing on that 1 foot block of a foundation of, hey, I know who I am. I know what I like. You don't need to tell me that you think I might, if you want to give me a recommendation for a movie or a song or what, I'm always up for a good rec. But like, you're not going to tell me to give up the whatever. And I talk a lot of shit. People with anime, people that are car guys, like stuff that I can't understand, how people get like so into cars and how they like get into anime. I don't understand that. And I'll make, jokes at people and be like, what the fuck, dude, you're a grown-ass man. But at the same token, man, like if that's who you are, if you're the guy that Call of Duty is just what you do and that's you, dude, hey, man, you got to find someone in your life that's going to be compatible with that. If you're constantly trying to fit in with these people that are trying to change you and tell you, oh, well, you're a child for doing that. It's like, man, I work so many hours a day and I come home and I do my thing. Like, I don't give a shit what you think about me. But then you got to be able to sit in that, right? And if your parents always told you, get off that fucking game and go do something, it's going to be really hard for you to be able to sit. And that's why you see all these guys got headsets on, they're talking to all these different people. Because if they were really to just sit and play, most people's minds would be like, I got to get up and do something productive. I think in the general landscape that we live in today, less information is more, right? The biggest thing to having confidence is not telling people everything. I know, in my upbringing, I tell my mother everything about my life. My dad, I didn't so much, But, I would tell him what I wanted him to know. And with my grandparents, it was kind of the don't upset your grandparents with real shit. And then it was when they came to you with something that they knew about, you were like, oh, damn, someone told grandma. Fuck, right? Like, I remember when I was going through my divorce, my family, they didn't like it. They didn't like the idea of me going through a divorce and having, a child that I would have to work through visitation times. And they thought, I think a lot of my family looked very down on me, like I was a piece of trash. And they didn't have the long-term vision that I had to go, well, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to build this life for myself. And it was more doubt. And I gave people a lot of reasons to doubt because I was just newly sober, And if I had allowed what my family thought at that time to keep me in that space at that time, I wouldn't be where I am now with my family that I have now. And like, we just spent a whole weekend together that was dope as shit. And it was like, you have to be confident in yourself. Matthew McConaughey said it best. Like, it doesn't matter who you sleep with every night. Regardless, you go to bed alone. You go to sleep with you every single night. You got to close them eyes and let whatever thoughts are about to go. And you have to be able to sit in that and go, I don't want to have a panic attack. I don't want to end my life tomorrow. And you have to be able to not have this feeling at your core, unmedicated, right? Not taking sleeping meds, not whatever to knock your ass out. Been there, still currently working through it. Saying, you got to be able to look at yourself and go, this is me. This is who I am. This is what I will do. This is what I will not do. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. And this is what I'm looking forward to. And this is what I'm willing to share. And this is what I'm not willing to share with people. Because just by sharing things that you're excited about, it allows people to innocently mean they don't mean any harm by it, but it still hurts you when people shit all over whatever your thing is, just because they don't get it, right? So first off, don't do that. If you know people are automatically off the rip Debbie Downers and they're typically known to shit on whatever it is you want to do, well, just don't tell them stuff. No matter how important their approval is to you, and you can simply tell that by how often do you feel the need when something happens to call that person and say, hey, this is what happened in my life. And if you feel the need to dress it up, I felt that need a lot when I talked to people when I was younger. Like when I got a job, I'd be like, yeah, I got the manager position. And I did, but it was like maybe I got the assistant manager and I just left that out. But it was like, yeah. And they said in 6 months, I'm probably going to go to this store. And it was like, I always had to be like, oh yeah, but this isn't just where I'm at. I'm already on a trajectory up. And I felt like I always had to describe, like, I'm not staying here long. I'm always going up. That puts a lot of pressure on yourself. That makes you resent people when you shouldn't, because then when you don't hit milestones, especially as a man, I can tell you, if you start bullshitting with your family about your job and how much money you hope to make or you project you're going to make, and you start making promises or saying, I want our life to look like this, well, people will notice over time when things don't look a certain way and things don't change. And those have to be put into perspective, right? Because if you're trying something on your own and other people may not understand it, you have to be willing to understand you're going to sacrifice. There's not a lot of mentorship out there for you, depending on what your lane is. And not really depending on what your lane is, there's more gatekeepers than there are wide open books going, here, let me show you how to accomplish your dreams totally on your own without having to have a handout from this person or a loan from this bank or this and this. It's like building something legitimately on your own is going to take you time. If you're trying to do that, it's best to keep a lot of your visions and your dreams and your stuff to yourself so your creative side stays in there and stays flowing and working. It's not getting diminished by other opinions. And if I can give some advice to younger or up-and-coming creatives, podcasters, musicians, whatever, don't put out everything that you think needs to be put out right away. I've gone through many phases of social media where, posting every day was a must. And if you don't post this day at this time, then you might as well just delete your profile because it's going to get trashed in the algorithm anyway. And then it went to like, do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Most people are shadow banned. Fuck it all anyway. Specifically talking about Instagram. And then now it's kind of a thing where it's like, no, there's hot points, and every hot point is different depending on the person and where their time zones are and whatever. So you have to be willing to constantly adjust, but don't oversaturate yourself. And that goes for everyone. Don't call everyone all the time. Don't always be the one reaching out to people to try to make things happen and keep things, fresh. And hey, man, respect your own energy. Respect the fact that people should be courting you in friendships and romantic relationships, and your parents should be calling to check on you, and your siblings should be checking on you, and your friends should be hitting you up. One thing that my family has always said in an unfortunate manner is like, the phone works both ways. It's not on you to call them all the time. If they're not calling, that means what? They don't want to. And if they don't want to, then what? You obviously don't have a spot in their life of true want and desire. So you should not want to be anywhere around that. As lonely and as sad as you may currently feel sitting over here wanting to be a part of that space, that's all gray, black space for you. Where you're not wanted, where you're not even in someone's brain space, and you got to fight through chiseled fucking rock just to get there, of unanswered calls, unanswered texts. You got to force your way in to be like, hey, please just acknowledge my existence. And then you're supposed to go to the next moment of your life and have some confidence or respect for yourself. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. And it's also hard to sit in that state of being like, fuck, man, there's not that many people that truly care about me. If you turn your shit off, meaning don't reach out to people, don't post on social media, don't whatever, just sit. Just live your life outside of social media. Don't put anything out there. Just be yourself every single day. Don't reach out to your friends saying, oh, what's going on with this person? What's up with this? Just live your life, right? Watch how many people stop calling you because you're not putting up this projection of what you might be or what you are doing or what you're not doing anymore, but you might be. If you're just living your life and, if you're a creative and you have something to post and it's ready and you've given it the time and the patience to review it and then you put it out, well, that's great. You're giving a quality piece of content. You're not just putting something out just to have something out at the moment and be in the competition field, because then what? We're creating out of pressure. We're creating out of necessity to be relevant. And then we're not doing anything of any value. We're just being there. But again, if you're not wanted, if there's no desire for you to be there, well, then you're just oversaturating a market or a friendship or a relationship. You're overstaying your welcome. Don't do that. There's people out there that want you in their space, that once they get to know you, they will crave you to be in their space because why? It makes their space better. That's the only real thing we do for one another, is what feelings do I leave you with when I'm gone? Do you miss me? Do you think about me? Did we laugh together? Did we have a meal that you'll always remember me by? Like, did we share a movie or whatever? Like, that's how you keep friendships. I had more friendships coming up just based on the fact that we recited the same movies nonstop over and over and over again, and that just kept our humor. And then we, stemmed our own jokes and our own, community life, our own habitat of being based off, Austin Powers jokes mixed with old school, mixed with Dave Chappelle, and it was like we created our own language of being able to speak to one another that it didn't matter if anyone else understood it. Like, when you got your people that understand you, and when you're having a bad day, they're like, man, Cam, let him be. He'll figure it out. And that's one thing I'll urge you guys a lot. Watch what the people say around you when you're having a bad time, man. For so long, I kept people around me that they wanted to baby me. They wanted to mother me. They wanted to be like, oh, let me tell you how to fix you. And now I can tell you the most productive I've ever been in my life. And it might seem a little stubborn. It might seem a little narcissistic. But, I have people around me that trust me now. And when I'm going through shit, they don't ask me 1,000 times, what's wrong? What's up? What's going on? Are you going to relapse? Are you going to... They go, no, he's got this. Whatever it is, he's got this and he's going to handle it. And that alone will give you confidence. But that takes some time, especially if you come from addiction, you come from recovery, and you've made a lot of bad decisions, you've broken trust. Sometimes you got to really build that back. But it can be done. Again, with sobriety, with good choices, with being reliable, with sometimes taking on more responsibility than even you think you can handle, you will show people that you can be superhuman on the other side of being a good person, being a solid foundational person for everyone in your life, where if there's a problem, people go, let me call you. Because I know you might at least have something to contribute to what's going on here that you might be able to help. Well, now you're an asset to people. And then you start dinging in people's brains. But if you've let your life get to a point where your self-confidence is so low and you've forgotten the gifts and the talents and the abilities that you have, and some of which are just being you, just the things you like and sharing those with other people. Sometimes we've been beaten down by people and life and situations and failures and whatever so much that we go, well, no one wants to see me. No one cares. And then I think we become walking projections where people dye their hair crazy and they pin shit to their face and a bunch of tattoos and stuff, where it's like, just stay far away from me. I want to repulse you as much as I can. Just stay away, because you're not going to like me anyway. So here, I'll put it all over, all my Pokemon, my anime, all my stuff to make me just stay away from me. Unless you connect to that, then hey. And I see them do it. The guys with the Dragon Ball Z stuff, they see one of the guys, the real strong dude, and they see one and they lose their fucking minds. And they're like, yo, you gotta fucking... And it's like, okay, man, hey. I can be grateful for the fact that y'all share that community in real life. I don't understand it. It's weird to me. But it can be weird to me, right? I'm not one of y'all's people, but I can be appreciative of the fact that y'all are so confident in who you are that you're willing to walk this way, talk this way, do these things so you could be recognized by your people. And I think sometimes we have to take that approach and go, look, man, life is all about communities and building our tribe and stuff like that. But remember, I think we just hit 8 billion people on this planet. Not everyone's going to be a part of your tribe. Not everyone's going to be your friend. Not everyone's going to be at your dinner party, your kid's birthday party. Like, you got to walk in your own lane and know what the fuck that is. And when you come to a crossroads, make a decision for yourself and take the new road of your life. And it may be a road that you never even dreamed of, that, oh, how did I become this person? And maybe you'll go back and find the original road again, but take every single one. Figure it out. Try the stuff. Eat the food. Listen to the music. Read the book. Watch the movie. Inspire yourself again to be you, so you can then present it to the people that are in your space. And stand in it. And don't apologize for it to anyone. Not your spouse, not your parents, not your kids, nobody. Be you. Funny, dark, serious, inspiring. All of it. Be all of it. Just be it all in a controlled manner where people that know you and can come to expect you on a relatively regular basis, they know what they can expect from you, and you're not just this walking ball of chaos all the time, because then no one counts on you. Self-confidence goes out the window. We get it. Guys, thumbs up the video, subscribe. I'm getting out of here. I got a lot of stuff to do today. Turkey Day is coming up. I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving if I don't talk to you before that. Love you.